Hi everyone, it's so late. I am so sorry that I'm operating on CP time, but welcome to a weekend review. It was supposed to be on Friday, but I had something to do. So happy Easter weekend to everyone who celebrates Easter. Happy Passover to the folks that celebrate Passover. So let's just jump into it. If you want to watch the replay, you can watch the replay on Instagram Live. Or if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, it's in the link in the bio. So that's great. I'm sorry that I'm late. Hopefully people are still up. If not, you can watch the replay, of course. So let's just jump right into COVID. So as of as of April 16th, 2020, here it is. So we have over 500 million cases of COVID. So the exact number is 504,143,042 confirmed cases of COVID worldwide. The global death toll is at 6,197,079. U.S. confirmed cases are at 80,625,120, and the U.S. death toll is at 988,609. So we are crushing in to the 1 million mark. So for those who just tune in, hello, how are you, sir? Please follow my friend, Mr. Too Raw, Too Real. We have over 500 million cases. So it's 504,143,042 on the global front. The global death toll is at 6,197,079. U.S. confirmed cases are at 80,625,120, and the U.S. death toll is at 988,609. And yet, really no one is still talking about COVID, which is ridiculous. And as of vaccinations, over 500,000 people received their doses within the last 7 days. So it's 545,570 people received their doses. And overall, there is 218.7 million people that are fully vaccinated. That's 67% of the population. And yet these cases here in the United States of America, those are the vaccinations in the United States of America, we have 80 million people that are infected or have been infected with COVID. And we had almost 1 million people succumb, and counting, almost 1 million people succumb to this virus. And yet people still think this shit is a joke. This shit is not a joke. This shit is real. There's cases, I think, climbing. So I won't be surprised towards the end of this month until towards the summer, we will have another surge. Don't be surprised if mask mandates will come back, because they are. Oh, I'm sorry. I send my prayers that your cousin will recover. And this is the stuff that I'm talking about. And all of these governors, including these blue state governors, and some of these other Democratic governors in purple and red states, want to, scale from the to scale from the vaccine. To scale the mask mandate. You're obviously crazy. So with over 500 million cases around the world, over 6 million people dead. Over, in the United States, over 80 million people are infected with COVID and almost 1 million people dead. If I were you guys, I would, 1, wear a mask, 2, get vaccinated, and keep your distance. And people are still not talking about social distancing, which I don't understand, because you still have to social distance. Just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you get to be up close to people. No, keep your goddamn distance from people. It's important. Wear your mask, because shit is still airborne. This thing won't possibly go away till in the middle of 2023. I said 2022 last year or the year before, but now since people are not following guidelines and people are loosening on the mask mandates to cater to the people, the clear folks, because most of them ain't vaccinated, right? The highest vaccinated group is actually the AAPI community, followed by the Hispanic community. All white people are not vaccinated, so I don't know what the hell people talking about. So wearing a mask and keeping your distance is always a plus. So if y'all want to fuck around and find out, that's your business. Because when you're on the ventilator, you have a 10% chance of getting off. Keep that in mind. The mask and distance doesn't hurt. Plus, people breathe stink. That is true. Also, since wearing a mask, I haven't got a cold. I really got a cold. Only a slight cold, but it lasts for like a day. And it was like, it lasts a day. NyQuil does a wondrous works. And mostly getting some sleep. But, yeah. I haven't got a cold since really, like a real cold that lasts for days since 2019. And that only lasts like 3 days. Really, I haven't really been sick since haven't been working with kids. So that is always a plus. And yeah, the mask works. I have both cloth and surgical. So I double mask when I go outside because my city is 8.4 million of us. It's a dense area. So there we go. Now let's move on to this shooting that happened in Brooklyn. For those who saw the news, yeah, it was real. They caught, I think one of them caught the guy, a pedestrian caught the guy on, yeah. Caught the guy on Wednesday, I believe Wednesday. So the guy was 62 years old. I think they said he was an MTA worker. Not sure, he wasn't vaccinated. But the guy has a history of saying crazy shit. He has a mental illness. That's one. Two, he wanted to kill the mayor. No matter if you don't like my mayor or not, he is the mayor of New York. And wanted to plot to kill a public official, that's kind of crazy. Even with who was in the White House. I mean, to plot to kill somebody, that's real. That means you got some real problems. But he also wanted to kill the vice president too, like says some like slanderous crazy shit. So I don't know how, but you know what? The access to the guns part, there's a lot of other states, they don't do criminal or like other background checks for you to have guns. You could get those guns actually kind of for free. So it's very kind of weird in other places, which that's scary as hell. But this shows that we need actually gun safety, like gun control reform. And over 50 or 60 something percent of Americans approve of gun control. But the party that is for the Second Amendment, you already know who. Yes, I'm talking about my city that happened in Brooklyn. And FYI, I don't live in Brooklyn, but I know people that live in Brooklyn. But you need it's important to have gun control. Gun reform. You need gun reform. We all need it. This country needs it. There's other places like New Zealand that has a strict gun law. But here in the United States, we're the freest nation of the world. And you're telling me that we can't agree on comprehensive gun reform? Are you kidding me? And this has been a fight for the last 10 years. The last 15 years. After the Sandy Hook shooting, I thought people would understand the need for gun reform, but obviously that's not the case. So to the Grand Old Party, formerly known as the Grand Old Party, now you're the Grand Insurrectionist Party. I think majority of the Americans, no matter how many of you are in the Senate and in the House, don't agree with your politics, don't agree with your stance when it comes to guns in America, because you see what's happening now. It's not good. So you guys always been on the wrong side of history, but this time you're really on the wrong side of history. Yes, I'm so glad that I was not on that train. Thank God. I actually live in Manhattan. So I live in the most popular borough, as they say. So I live on the island. We're surrounded by water. So yeah, that's me. I live on Manhattan Island. That's the old saying. So I don't live in Queens, but I got family in Queens. I got family in I got friends that live in Brooklyn. I got family in the Bronx. I got family in no, I don't got no family in Staten Island. One of my dearest friends live in Staten Island. And I got family that's in Mount Vernon and the White Plains area. That's the Westchester area. So I got a great amount of family that lives in the city still. So, and everyone is okay, because my sister don't work in Brooklyn. She works in Queens. And I work from home, but I also work in the city. So no one travels to Brooklyn. I used to travel to Brooklyn for work. I used to travel to the Fort Greene area. So that's like the downtown area. So that's where I'm at. Ugh. Don't remind me. And speaking of more stuff of why this was not okay, it is ancient and it's expensive. So getting into this whole why defund the police was not good, because shootings like this and serious of shootings that happen in New York City. So progressives are still fighting this hill on defund the police. They really need to sit down. Some people say eat their food, but I'm from New York. They need to shut the fuck up and listen. That's what we say. Because you guys don't know what y'all talking about. Most of y'all are not even from New York City, not born and bred it. Y'all, and half of y'all was not even born during the crack era, where there was multiple of shootings, there was multiple of crime that happened. Republicans were in office then. I was born during the second term of the Reagan administration. They didn't do shit. That Say No to Drugs campaign was bullshit, because people were still on crack, still using, I'm going to say it the Harlem way, heroin, and using cocaine. So I don't know what these little young progressives are talking about, but they really need to shut the whole entire fuck up and listen. Listen to the old heads, as you say, around the way, because they've been there. And honestly, people want to see police, but they don't want to see kids, like young black kids, being stopped and frisked, but they want some type of community policing, and they want some type of safety. Because the crime is crazy. They even robbing high-end stores. Now you know shit is real. Shit is real. Shit is real. So this defund the police bullshit, this whole slogan, because they conflating defund the police to abolish the police. Like I said, they need to shut the fuck up. And whoever got a problem with me saying why defund the police is bad, you can kiss my ass. Because I live in one of the cities that is experiencing a serious amount of crime. I just got a news alert saying they found a woman's body somewhere in Queens. And y'all want to talk about still defund the police? If anybody is defunding police, it's the Republicans. Because all of them, including Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, voted against the American Rescue Plan. So get the fuck out of here, okay? Like, get the fuck out of here. Shit is real. On to more shit that the Republican Party is responsible for. So Florida and Oklahoma passed these crazy draconian abortion bills where they banning abortions, and they're not alone. Georgia has put out a bill. I don't know if Tennessee did. Arizona's about to put out one. Like, I think Ohio, did something. I mean, from what somebody said, listen, all these Republicans are pearl clutching because they realize they're becoming the minority because it's only 50% of white people, according to the census data. That's the population. They were once the majority long time ago, but now you're becoming the minority because there's more black and brown people. They predicted that by 2024 or 2040, around those times, there will be more black and brown people. And their children, the white children, men and women, are having babies with people outside their race. Interracial marriage. You know the Loving Law? Mike Braun from Indiana, the junior senator from Indiana, that law is settled law. That law, encourages people of all different creeds to, if they want to marry outside their race, that Loving Law is real. And people have been having interracial marriages before the Loving Law. So Mike Braun want to shut the fuck up and, and read and watch the Loving film to understand that you cannot tell people who to love. No matter if you're in a monogamous relationship, whether you're heterosexual or part of the LGBTQ plus community, you can't tell people who to fucking marry. Get the fuck out of here. Like the Republican Party of your grandmother, because that Republican Party wasn't good, whoever it has Republican grandparents, the Republican Party was really never for the people. No matter how much Lincoln freed the slaves, Lincoln had slaves too. Okay? They're the party that encouraged people to spend more in 1920 and couldn't handle the Depression in 1930. And it was a Democratic president, whether he has issues with black people, helped the country come out of an economic depression. It was another Democratic president named Jimmy Carter who helped this country come out of a year's recession during the 1970s of drugs and everything. And there was another Democratic president named Bill Clinton who helped black Americans, to get a leg up. And there was another Democratic president who saved us from having a second economic depression and saved our auto industry being sold to our foreign adversaries. The name Barack Hussein Obama. And then, of course, there's another American president, currently another Democratic president, by the name of Joseph Robinette Biden, who was the vice president to Barack Hussein Obama. It's saving us right now, not just from an economic recession and not from the brink of, World War III happening here, but a global pandemic. After all, he was the guy that saved us from other pandemics was about to happen during the Obama administration. So, yeah, the Republican Party is not the party for the people. And this segues to me is time to read, people. So, white voters, not white men, but white women in particular, let's have a conversation. Why in 2016 you didn't vote for your white sister? Why y'all didn't vote for her in high economic numbers? Because she was evil, hawkish. You didn't have a legit reason, so you voted for the New York trash box without saying his name. And I thought you would have learned during his tenure in the White House. But instead, you voted for him again in higher numbers, 55%. You increased it by 2 percentage points because in 2016, you voted for him at 53% and then now 55%. And I thought, you still didn't get it because we have President Biden, thanks to black people, black women. You voted for Glenn Youngkin in Virginia by 57%. So I don't understand why you keep voting for a party that is blatantly putting out abortion ban bills, restricting your reproductive rights that you have in this country. Why you keep voting for a party that don't give a fuck about you? Can you tell me? I'll wait. But me sitting here waiting will take Jesus years. It will take a whole depreciation of a car. Depreciation on a house. For you guys to give me a legit answer why you keep voting for incompetent, mediocre ass white men. If you don't show up for the Democratic Party in these midterms, we will be living in the 1950s again. And trust me, I don't want to live in the 1950s because the 1950s wasn't kind to people like me. And it's another thing I got to say to the white women. For the white women that don't appreciate the fact that, you know, your black women counterparts show up for a party that cares about the country and that wants to save democracy. Like, you guys are not allies. Because if you guys were allies, you would have cared about our voting rights, reproductive rights, you know, home ownership, all this other stuff that black people want, you would have cared about. Instead, you vote the opposite way from us. You're the group that votes for the GOP the most, besides your white men. And say, well, what about black men? Black men voted for them in 20%. Yeah, they're the least vote for the Republican Party. White people are the highest vote for the Republican Party. It's not really black people. Because we still got our 80% of black men. And we hope that, you know, they increase their numbers and realize the GOP don't give a fuck about them, that they will vote for the Democratic Party. Y'all keep listening to those Vernon Jones and you know, them Dominant Silks, and them Brandon Tatums, all them knuckleheads out there, and Herschel Walker's, you know, nasty pimple skin ass. I don't know how you get pimples like almost near 60, but who am I? Y'all keep listening to those motherfuckers. You guys will be so lost in the sauce. Seriously. Just fucking lost in the sauce. And to progressives. If you talk so much shit about the Democratic Party, why y'all keep running for offices and register as Democrats? Why you just can't register with the Working Party's family? Or as an independent? Because what y'all doing to the Democratic Party is fucked up. Especially to black elected officials that have been working towards shit for a long time. I don't know what your little white progressives, I don't know why you mad at black people, but the people you should be mad at is the white Republicans. You should not be mad at black Democrats. No matter where the ideology, where we define ourselves. And that's another thing. Stop putting labels on black people. Progressives, I'm white progressives, I'm talking to you. Stop putting labels on black Democrats. Because majority of black Democrats don't define themselves through an ideology. We're pragmatists. We vote pragmatic. We vote for the person that we know is going to win. We know that white progressive or that black puppet progressive won't be that person to defeat the other person on the other side. Especially in these divisive times. Times always been divisive, but it's just even more divisive right now. I think, you know, your input don't mean shit. So please, stop putting labels on us. Please and thank you. But I will end this night to say, please stay safe this Easter holiday. If you celebrate Easter, for the church folks, resurrection holiday. Because some of y'all are having church indoors. My church is going to be over the phone because my church is small and I prefer to, this is my third Easter, having a Zoom church on Easter, and it's fine. I'd rather be safe than be affected with COVID. Maybe one of these days, next year, there will be Easter in person. But I'm fine with Easter over the phone. So until then, folks, have a great night and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care.